Let's fight. Let's fight. Cat Sharma, Isabella Butters. Let's fight. Pace and power, folks. Let's fight. Good to have each and every one of you here with us, guys. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. Good to have each and every one of you, wherever you're joining us from. We're pleased and privileged to have you folks here with us. Anil, your name calling. Pace and power, folks. Ever small. Pace and power. Good to have each and every one of you here. Folks, share the live. Smash that emoji button. You're going to want to be here this evening. You're going to want to share the jam live. Smash that emoji button, guys. We got a road to get down, folks. We're going to go down the road. Shout out Castillo, Edwards, and Bobani. All of you folks, Oswald Elias and Roxanne Odessa, Jacobs, welcome in the ring, good folks. We're fired up. We're ready to go. We trust that you guys are as well. Anil in some hot water before the CCJ. That's why I want you folks to know tonight. Here's some hot water, folks. We're going to be talking about that and some other things. CCJ and then some other business. Lena Williams, good to have you. Lynn Fernandez, welcome as well. Amber Tone, Wendy and Roseanne, Grace James, all the other beautiful, wonderful folks who are joining us this evening. Handsome as well. Ann Nelson, Mavis Davis Wells, Wilton Blue, good to have you. Penelope Hudson, Karen Archibald, good to have each and every one of you. Lovely, beautiful folks tonight. We trust that you guys are great. We outside, folks. We here. We trust that you guys are well. We're fired up and we're ready to go. Fired up, ready to go. Patricia Wren, welcome in the ring, folks. Wherever you're joining us from, Patricia Wren, Renal Warrell, Penelope Hudson, Debbie Hohen Court, Lyndon Gill, folks. Welcome in the ring to each and every one of you. Brenda Bailey, good to see you. How you folks doing out there? Good to have all of you here. Wilton Blue and June Chase. Pace and power, good folks. We're so delighted that each and every one of you are here with us. Share the live. Smash that emoji button. Whether you're joining us on Twitter, Instagram, you're joining us on TikTok, you're TikToking, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. Welcome in the ring, David Wood, Pinky Vaughn, Roxanne Lester Jacobs. Good to have you, Paul Bourne and Linda Thomas. Respect the manners, Paul Bourne. Respect the manners. And wherever you're joining us from this evening, folks, share that live and smash that emoji button. Debbie Hohenkirk, Ingrid King, great to see you. And all the other beautiful, wonderful folks who are joining us this evening. We are so privileged that you fantastic folks are here. Yep. So grateful that you guys are here with us. Good to have you. Margaret, Deborah, Joylyn, Wayne, Brenda, good to have each and every one of you guys. Share the live, smash that emoji button. We're going down, good folks. We're going down. Healthy Joseph, Tommy Gibbs, good to have you as well. Each and every one of you. Allison Hardy, good to have you. Odwin Lake, respect and manners. Rena Cummins, good to have you. Rowena. Providence. Peters Hall, Rowena Cummins. Good to have you folks here. We're fired up. We're ready to go. Julian Mark, Sukchan Sudhari is here as well. All you other beautiful, fantastic folks who join us. Melinda Williams de Santos, good to have you as well. And Rochelle Johnson, good to have you, Rochelle. Minerva Richmond is here as well, guys. We're fired up. We trust that you guys are as well. We're ready to go. Orin Don. Audrey Cole, how you doing, Audrey? Come on down. Eartha, London, Winella Garnett, good to have you, Winella. If I'm not mistaken, Winella celebrated a birthday recently. Folks, I want to say happy belated birthday to Winella Garnett. Winella, I hope you spent it well. Hope all of your dreams come true. Long life, prosperity, long life, good health, and prosperity. All the good things and prosperity. All the good things, Winella Garnett. Happy belated birthday, Winella. Joylyn Cook, Tanya Cummins. Good to have you. Janella Arthur. Good to have you. Rowena. Good to have each and every one of you. Folks, we just might have a guest or two dropping by. We just might have a guest or two dropping by. We trust that you folks are great. We're fired up at this end. Odwin, Maria Niles, and Yolanda Thomas. Oh, the CCJ had a mouthful on the Attorney General, Anil Nandalal, today. He had a mouthful. Then we see Anil come out with something like apology, folks. Yeah, it's not a real place. It isn't a real place. We're fired up, ready to go, and we trust that you beautiful, wonderful folks, that you guys are as well. Bobani and Beatrice Selby, Joylyn Cook, and all you beautiful, fantastic folks like Pamela Jerrick. Good to have you, Pamela Jerrick. Good to have you, Gurick. Good to have you as well. Good to have each and every one of you, Kelston and Sharon Castillo, Tony Hack. Good to have you, Amabel Clement. Amabel, how are you doing? I need Amabel in a little bit. Amabel, wherever you are, we forgive you. We forgive. Orange Box, great to see you as well, folks. Share the live, smash that emoji button, folks. Anil in hot water with the CCJ. We can come around to that. Ask with Charles and all the other beautiful, wonderful folks joining us. Hot water for the Attorney General before the CCJ. Hot water, folks. Abigail Clark, Anthony, Abiola, Lennox Anderson, Pollyanna Schultz, and all those other folks who are joining us. Aging some hot water before the CCJ. Alison Cortez, a fantastic evening to you as well, Alison. Alison Cortez, good to have each and every one of you. Beautiful, fantastic folks joining us this evening. Ginseng Henry says, share the damn life. That we can agree with, folks. That kind of attitude, we can agree. Share the damn life, folks. Smash that emoji button as well. Smash the hell out of it. Share the light. We're fired up at our end, guys, and we are ready to go. And we trust that you beautiful, wonderful folks are as well. We are ensuring we are shared to all the right places, folks. Share the light. Smash that emoji button as well. You know, some of y'all need some direction, and we just want to give it to you. We just want to give it to y'all, good folks. Share the light. Smash that emoji button. You know what you got to do. We just want to give the direction to y'all. Yep. Retweet, share, like. Do what you got to do, folks. Do what you got to do. Good peoples. Do what you got to do out there. We're so happy to have you. Share the damn live. The folks are telling you. Smash that emoji button. Anil in hot water before the CCJ, folks. Before the CCJ. Hot water. Anil in hot water before the CCJ. I see somebody say, talk to that much. I think it's that too. Good to have you, folks. Share the live, like, subscribe. Do what you got to do. David Ivor Hamilton and all those other folks joining us. We put it big. You can't miss it. Share the live. Smash that emoji button for us. Lester Williams, Dan Grimsandi, Samantha Life says, correct is right. And Singh, Leslie in charge, Abiola. This is the break to share the live, folks. This is the break to smash that emoji button. Loretta Argyle, Emily Durant, we well over 2,000 across social media. Holding for some of you to share, to smash that emoji button. You know, we coming up the mark looking tin tonight. We got to hold y'all to stand because some of y'all slacking up. We got to remind y'all where y'all there, who y'all be. Some of y'all slacking up a little bit. We watching y'all, though. Watching y'all. Go ahead and listen. Good to have you. Bantu King and Carol Hudson, Jacqueline Beard, June Daniels. Good to have you as well. And Tracy Mulray. And folks, share that live for us. Smash that emoji button. We're about ready to get going. Wherever you're joining us from this evening, share that live. Smash that emoji button for us. And we're going to go down the road, good folks. We're going to go right down the road. We're so happy and privileged that you beautiful, fantastic folks are here with us. We're ready, folks. If you all are ready, we're ready. And that's all we need. Y'all ready? We ready? Ready to go down the road, good folks. Welcome in the ring officially, each and every one of you. Wherever you beautiful, wonderful folks are joining us from, guys. Wherever you're joining us from, we're going to wet your beak a little bit. Give you a taste. It's the appetizer. I haven't even main course. It's the appetizer. Shipping. Getting dangerous in places like Suriname. Very, very dangerous. we can tell you what's happening with Chip and Suriname. Yep. Them boys getting like we. Them boys like a taking pattern from me. And then folks, they used to make Dolly different. They used to make Dolly different back in the days. How many of you used to play Mommy and Daddy in Dolly house? How many of you? Huh? How many of you, Mommy and Daddy in Dolly house? They're making Dolly's different these days. Dolly Miller, quite different. And this gentleman here, folks, you don't see sickness. You don't see a sick mind like this gentleman. He, right for the PPP, right for the PPP, sick mind, sick. Get the stores. The last of those iconic shopping centers we had of yesteryear. Part of it, a good portion, went up in flames this morning. A good portion, Karen Archibald, Dave, went up in flames this morning. Wendy Allen and Erica Hooper went up in flames this morning. We can be talking about that. And then, them boys launch a road safety campaign. Them cars ain't having it. A road safety campaign, barely on the blocks. And them boys, they're crashing into the campaign now. They're crashing up the campaign. Folks, wherever you're joining us from this evening, welcome in the ring, folks. Welcome. Leslie King, Emily Durant, and Sharon Castro Edwards, and Zakir. Good to have each and every one of you good folks. We are fired up at this end, and we are ready to go. We're coming, folks, from around the world. Hear the drum roll? Rolling my own drums here. You heard that drum roll? We coming in, good folks. We coming in from the cold, from around the world. Yep, I ain't tell you about this part. This fella is a janitor in the US of A, folks. And he is being charged with giving a sexually transmitted disease to an office worker. Right? An STD, an incurable one. After repeatedly urinating in her water bottle. Repeatedly urinating in her water bottle. The man see he got a sickness. He like peeing water bottles. I think it's more than that. Folks, I met a man just today. He said, don't eat from some of them. Don't drink. Don't put on nothing. Don't left nothing behind. Watch yourself. That's how you can be able to job now, you know. You don't know how some people you're working with sick and nasty. So the woman has contracted an STD, incurable, because he kept urinating in her water bottle repeatedly. And then they caught him. Some people sick, you know. I see somebody say, what the hell? Yes. You know who you're working with. Some people sick. Who shared the damn life tonight? Dana Miller, you share the life. Asquith Schultz. What about you? Michelle Lane, Rhonda Gordon, share the damn life. Smash that emoji button, folks. And let's go down the road tonight to get a pee in the woman bottle. Now she got an incurable STD. Well, she took him to court. I see her in down cook say, what? All you ain't see evil yet. All you ain't see nastiness yet. You ain't see it, Jackie Beard. You ain't see it. You walk around people like go better than them to see nastiness and worthlessness. This jackabat here was urinating, peeing, pissing in the woman water bottle. And now has given her an incurable STI. I see Cassandra Keeler says, he wicked, he damn wicked. And that's why we say the fella right to be a PPP. Folks, we can have a guest or two dropping by. You're going to want to share the live. You're going to want to smash that emoji button. Good, folks. And as we begin the program, right out the block, and we talk about this nastiness happening here, you're going to want to partner with us as well, so we can continue keeping on.
Want to keep getting the best in the ring?
Let's fight!
Yes, you can help us to keep going by partnering with us through your contributions. And it's easy. Send us a daily, weekly, or monthly donation, whichever is most convenient to you. Cash App at $in-the-ring592, Zelle and PayPal in-the-ring592@gmail.com, or WhatsApp us on 627-6963 for how to contribute via MoneyGram and Western Union and for MMG payments.
Folks, don't forget us. We need your love, your generosity, and your support to keep going. I see somebody said the fella was trained on the Jaglio. And folks, that's one of the things we follow internationally. This as well. Folks, it's trying times. It is trying times, Yvonne Daly, Carol Hudson, Melissa, Fraser. Trying times, Mary Ann James, very trying time. There's a 3 weeks lockdown right now. right now in 2 districts in Uganda as the country continues to battle a fresh bout of the Ebola outbreak. You know Ebola deadly. Deadly! More deadly than the PPP. Anything more deadly than PPP? Equally deadly as the PPP. Equally deadly. And so lots of the districts, they're telling us at least 3 of them in Uganda, they're on lockdown tonight as they attempt to stem the tide of the spread of Ebola down there. Folks, it's the last days, you know. It's the last days we living. I telling you, it's everything we battling. It's the PPP, the sickness, Ebola. You know, you got foot to mouth, Anil. You got smallpox, chicken. You know, you name it. COVID-19, monkey, everything you got, everything we battling with. Ebola now, on top of the woes, plus Kwame. Deadly, folks. And they're telling us again that at least 3 districts in Uganda have been shut down. Lockdown tight because of Ebola. So here's us and prayers are with the people of Uganda tonight. That's what we're picking up. Folks are making these dolls different. They're making these dolls different now. You spot anything here? Tell me you see here. Annalisa, Marcia Griffith, Quasi. What you see here? Jerry Bias. Folks, I want to know what you're seeing here. You know the dollies you used to sell at Guyana stores back in the day? They're different. Different. You know who is who very clearly. Now, now Juliet Mickle, Andy Williams, Delon Benjamin. You don't know why you're getting Andy, Dan Graves, Andy. They're making these dollies different. Cheryl Pancham. What the folks behaving with him, man? What the people behaving with him? Huh? What's happening here? Father, come for your world. Come for your world, Father. The dolls of old were different. Carol Jacobs. This one, only the Christmas tree for one of the kids. Chevauguer. Folks, I'm changing that. The dolls of today different. Alana Bovell. The dolls of today different. Mala Pandey. Carmichael Street. The dolls of today, folks, very different. Ariel Hector. It's Michelle Solomon. Mark Doris. Leslie Patrice Hamilton. The dolls are very different. Yeah. That's the world we're living in. Touch my Christian sensibilities there. Moving on, folks. Very different. You got to inspect that one real closely. Somebody else. So what kind of doll is that? Aye, folks. Aye. Around the region. Make your best be cute out. Around the region, good folks. Around the region. Let me take it from there. Not far. Right around the region. Here's something we're following. Right next door in Suriname. Them boys bust a container. In the doors of the container, cocaine. Is who from Guyana teaching them boys, man? It's who from Guyana teaching them boys in the door of the container, cocaine. The white angel, the sugar down the door of the container. Yep. They're shipping out rice through a Surinamese port. And they found the doors of the container. Cocaine, folks. Cocaine is everything. Cocaine is somebody from here shining them boys. Somebody is selling y'all. Somebody. Yep. Intercepted. We own narco state. We can't ridicule nobody. We're just observing what's happening next door. We cannot cast aspersions, folks. No, we cannot ridicule. When we own jagabats and transcripos to deal with. Folks, I'm so happy you're here. Share the damn alive. Smash that emoji button. And let's go down the road, folks. Let me go down. You know, the UN intervening now in Haiti. CARICOM still up, saying it's well there. It's well there with CARICOM there. UN, they say, are going to be voting soon. Sanctions to curb the violence and crime in Haiti. Violence, depending on scream and so. Then we don't name it, folks, the UN. When CARICOM voting, whether CARICOM, that's why I want to ask you all tonight. Where CARICOM there? Look at many things happening. UN send armored vehicles. They send some other resources, money, ammunitions, this, that. We, we holding. We're the holding pattern. We're in a holding pattern. Holding pattern, folks. A holding pattern. But the UN doing what they got to do. Pay some power to the UN and its Secretary General, Antonio Guterres. Yeah. Doing the work, folks. Doing the work. He was PlayStation. Not like this install regime. No. Not them fellas. Not them people. The fella working. The fella down there is working. Moving on. We right to the good old 592, folks. Good old 592. We're bringing y'all in from the CCJ. Where we flying in from, good folks? Where we flying in from the CCJ? Where y'all want flying from? Folks, we cannot do this work without you. That's why we keep telling y'all. Share the damn like, smash that emoji button, good folks. Let me go down the road, man. Let me go down the road.
Want to keep getting the best in the ring?
Let's fight!
Yes, you can help us to keep going by partnering with us through your contributions. And it's easy. Send us a daily, weekly, or monthly donation, whichever is most convenient to you. Cash App at $in-the-ring592, Zelle and PayPal in the ring592 at gmail.com, or WhatsApp us on 627-6963 for how to contribute via MoneyGram and Western Union and for MMG payments.
Anil in hot water before the CCJ. Nandalal in some hot water, folks, before the CCJ. I ain't tell y'all. Hot water. Hot like fire, folks. Bring it on in now. In the 592. Yep, look what we're following. This young lady is missing. Haley. Share the live, folks. Smash that emoji button. We haven't seen an update all day that she was found. We're supposed to show this since yesterday. Have not seen a notation publicly that she was found. This is Haley, folks. Haley, and her mother wants her back safe and sound. She went missing quite recently. Her mother, Priya Bowen, wants her back safe and sound. If you see Priya, if you see Haley, those are all the numbers, folks, you can contact. Or the nearest police station, right? All the numbers you can contact, or the nearest police station. Haley, folks, Haley, you got all the numbers there, or the nearest police station. She is missing. Some of you might want to take a screenshot of that and maybe repost. We're going to put it up on our page later on. Let us know if time has overtaken this and she may have been found. But too many of our young women, too many of our kids going missing. We got to watch that. I see somebody says Haley was found. Yep. I did think we didn't say anything during the course of the day, but time may have overtaken that. And the folks are telling us yes. And we're so happy. Health matters, folks. Health matters. COVID is still a concern, even though we aren't getting the accurate numbers, folks, on COVID. We still want to watch that. We still want to tell you guys, observe all the COVID-19 protocols that are in place for your health, your safety of your friends, family, and loved ones. 5 new reported cases. 5 new reported cases. Rita Clark. The folks are saying Haley was found, and we are tremendously happy about that. Thank you, Victorious. Thank you, Rita, and all the other folks. Yep, Haley was found. 5 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 also was found today. And guys, you want to watch that. Let me take you out quick. Hope you all are vaccinated, fully vaccinated, and you had your booster dose. If you don't like vaccine, all right. We understand. Share the live, folks. Smash that emoji button. Thousands of you watching us across social media. Smash that emoji button. Share the damn live. And let me go down to the next story. Yep. That's what's happening on the COVID front. You know what's sad, folks? When you die, you even see justice. We told you about this one last night, and we can confirm fully that Isaiah Henry's mother, Patricia Henry, has died. Yep. We're being told, folks, brace it over. You know what's that, folks? You're dead in this country without any justice. Irfan Ali, pampersetting, he finds himself all over the place. Told this family, I don't leave no stone unturned. Well, they're still going through the quarry. We're going to leave no stone unturned. Them boys still going through the quarry. Yeah? The woman's son died, no justice. She's died, no justice. Folks, we're being told yesterday, was the court appearance for her big son. You know, he was detained as a suspect in the murder of someone else related to this case. And we were told that she was supposed to be heading to court to attend to that matter when she took ill and she was taken to the Fort Wellington Hospital. Folks, the folks are telling us that Patricia Henry asked the nurses who were there, "My son coming? Y'all know if my son coming?" And then she collapsed and died. Credible, valid information. The mother of Isaiah Henry, Patricia Henry, passes on. And she didn't see justice for Isaiah. She didn't see justice for Joel Henry. She was supposed to be heading to court for big son, implicated in this whole fiasco. This is so sad. The toll this is exacted on this family should be faced by none of them. And of course, you know, Isaiah and Joel Henry were killed in Cotton Tree Back Dam. Left one Saturday morning just to pick coconuts. Never returned. They found their mutilated bodies hours later. And that case has been rumbling on. They said she went to hospital because she wasn't feeling well instead of attending to that court matter. And at some point during her visit, she cried out, "My son coming? Y'all know my son coming back?" She collapsed and died. Folks, brace it over. And of course, folks, our thoughts and prayers go out to the Henry family. No family should have to endure the kind of pain this one family has had to endure for the last year and a half, 2 years. You know, in search for justice. And now Patricia's gone. Thoughts and prayers. Folks of faith, pray for this family. Pray for them. Pray for them. Thoughts and prayers again to the family and the whole community. It's not an easy road out here, guys. You're Cindy Grant, Lily Gulliver, Roxanne Austin, Ingrid King, Facebook user. What kind of parent name the children Facebook user? Michelle Lane, Lyndon Gill, each and every one of you out there. Amateur Carol is not an easy road. You know them boys launch a campaign. Because it's not an easy road. Operation Safe Road. A number of vehicles are pulled in. And rightly so, for a number of infractions. Yep, Operation Safe Road nets a number of vehicles. This is some of the common offenses in which they are pulled over for: speeding, failure to wear seatbelt, uncertified motor vehicle, prohibition of tinted glass, unlicensed motor vehicle, uninsured motor vehicle, failure to conform to traffic signs, careless driving, double lines, you breach the double lines, breach of insurance, unlicensed driver, breach of traffic light. Yep. Anything that helps our road to be safe. Sign me up. Anything that helps our road to be safe. And so we say respect and manners. And kudos to the officers going out there and ensuring that our road's safe. But you know, yesterday morning, folks, we noted that this program was launched just Mandela Avenue in the vicinity of Multilateral and East Sharmville Secondary School. In that general area there, this program was launched. You had the bishop out there as part of part of this event of launching this program of Operation Safe Road. And just this morning, folks, just up the road from where them boys launched that, boom, accident. Folks, we got to slow down. Right? Not only by Meadowbrook and Mandela Avenue where this accident occurred, not only by Meadowbrook and Mandela Avenue there, but wherever we use the roads. Slow down, folks, and let me arrive alive. Slow down, good people, and let me arrive alive. And just this afternoon, we saw this one at Sandy Bap Street and Blasinjan Road. Sandy Bap Street, Alalabaville, Paul Singh and Blasinjan Road. And this car here and this lamppost seem to be fused. Fused is one, Kesh Sharma, Odetta Langhorne, Diane Fordyce, Jenny Roberts, Cassandra Keeler, Aldwin Lake and Heaven Faith. They seem to be fused as one Folks, we begging y'all, slow down. Slow down, good people, and let me arrive alive. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Slow down for us, and let me arrive alive. Yep. Please and thank you. That's what we saw. That's what we saw. Slow down, good people, and let me arrive alive. And while we're talking about accidents, we lost. Today they're telling us, or was it late last evening, policeman Roger Bowen succumbs after an accident in Enmore on the East Coast. Slow down, folks, and let me arrive alive. Police Constable Roger Bowen succumbed over the last 24 hours. Right? And Bridget Gittins says she saw that accident in Mandela this morning at 5 a.m. And happy that you were safe, Ms. Gittins. Happy that you were safe. Policeman Roger Bowen wasn't so lucky. He met an accident in Enmore, succumbed to the city hospital to his injuries. Folks, this thing is real, you know. This thing is real, folks. It's real. I would argue more people we've lost to road accidents than we've lost to COVID and all its variants and monkeypox and smallpox together. All together, we've lost more people to the carnage happening on our roads, happening on our waterways. Slow down. Our thoughts and prayers, of course, go to the family of Police Constable Roger Bowen, certain grieving his death, his family, his friends, his community that loved him. Our thoughts and prayers go to you guys tonight. Slow down, folks, and let me arrive alive. Slow down, good folks. Let us arrive alive. Fires of the PPP, folks. Fires of the PPP. We're losing all of our historic buildings. We're losing them. Right? We're losing them. Fogarty's, now Leparkan, used to be one of those places you had to go to shop. Fogarty's has lost its prestige. Booker's, now Guyana stores. These were some of the premier shopping centers in this country. But over the years, they've lost their status, lost their prestige. Right. Lost it. And this morning we saw a fire there at that latter one. We saw fire, good folks. Saw this fire at, let me make sure I get it right. Yep. The old Booker's building, Guyana stores, a great portion of that building went up in flames this morning. Lots of damages there. Fires on the PPP. We have noted, and those of you who've been following us, we have noted this extraordinary amount of fires since the PPP's return. Fire after fire. And this is just what we're tracking in the city. This is not what we're tracking countrywide. In the city, as a matter of fact, did we quote last evening the Guyana Fire Servicing? They've noted a 7% increase in fire. We think it's more than that. That's very conservative. It's at least a 20% increase in fires. And so, Guyana stores, just this morning, huge portion of the building, the part closest to Main Street, went up in flames. We're still holding for that police report. Deborah Sharona Lynch, we're still holding for that. Hazley Wendy Gifford, we're holding for that. Betsy Freeze, Pansy Field, Sharon Alfonso Evans, Lyndon Gale, Sheila Boyd Child, we're holding for it. Fires of the PPP, folks. The fires of the PPP. The fires of the PPP. Watch for it, folks. Watch for it. Stay safe wherever you are from the fires of the PPP. Fires of the PPP. Fires, we tell you. Fires. Yep. We can keep tracking this for you guys. As we have been. Fires every day. Something in this place got up in flames. Every day. Every day. People of faith, pray for we. Pray for us. Fires on the PPP. We tracking them. Narco state. Them boys telling us over the last year, right? Or rather, season September low, not last year, sorry. My apologies. Drug pushers. 311 million been intercepted in narcotics for September alone. 311 million in narcotics have been intercepted by Kanu. Yeah. And while we say respect and manners, how much pass? That's the worrying thing. How much pass, Kingston Henry? A gypsy sing the song? Somebody letting the cocaine pass? How much pass? Understand why the Americans are deemed Guyana as a narco state? You understand? Yeah. 300, that is September alone, you know. September alone. And that's the big number tonight. That's the big number tonight. 311 million in narcotics. Just in September. September alone. Yep. That's how things going down on that front. That's how things going down on that front. Folks, good folks. The court, our final court of appeal, the CCJ. Oh boy, Anil in some hot water. Anil in some hot water, folks. He in some hot water. Yep. He in some hot water. Hot water. He's in. Hot water, folks. He in some hot water. Folks, we told y'all since this morning. And we told y'all last night. We ain't gonna win this one. Right? We ain't gonna win this one. And we didn't win it. True to form, we didn't win it. Elections petition 99, the CCJ upheld that the Court of Appeal didn't have any jurisdiction. The CCJ upheld, our final Court of Appeal, upheld that the Court of Appeal in Guyana did not have jurisdiction to entertain the elections petition. Mind you, to date, none of these elections petitions, the two that are in the court, 18 and 99, have been heard on any of the substantive issues. It's all on technicalities. And of course, the Chief Justice threw out the petition because of late service on one of the respondents. Not because of the missing oaths of identity, the statutory documents in those boxes that were missing, that people who miraculously voted on March 2nd, the people from overseas who fantastically voted on March 2nd, not because of any of these issues, but because one party among 9, right, he copied the notice of this court matter late. They throw the court matter. That's justice for you in this world. That's justice. But y'all remember last night, Anil put out big and bad. We win. This wasn't a winning day for Anil by any measure. It was not a winning day for the Attorney General by any measure, folks. By any measure. You know why? He's a prostitute. He's a hybrid chatry. He's a prostitute. A cross mixed with a chute. Prostitute. He's a hybrid. Paulette Niles. He's a prostitute. Because the CCJ did not take lightly that Anil went ahead of them. Went ahead of them and delivered that decision. No. The CCJ was livid today. And they said they're done with it yet. The acts demanded an apology publicly. And they said, we're done with you yet. Folks, listen to a couple of the things the CCJ said of our Attorney General. Among them, right? Listen to a couple of the things the justices of the CCJ said about the Attorney General of Guyana, of the oil producing republic. Listen to some of them. Right? Listen to a couple of them. as they reprimanded him for what I believe it was, one of the justices said, breach of confidentiality. Listen to what some of the justices said. Right? You got Justice Witt, Jacob Witt. He said of the Attorney General, right, of this issue that was brought to their attention of him publishing prematurely the decision of the court. It is very serious and unacceptable thing. This Justice Witt, he said, I think we have expressed ourselves clearly enough to make it very clear this is totally unacceptable. And any further action of the court, and rather, further action of the court will be contemplated. That's Justice Witt. On the AG running out and believing he's the president of the CCJ. Right? That's one of the things Justice Witt said. Justice Winston Anderson. Justice Anderson had some words of his own. He said he was not aware of the breach of confidentiality initially. Right? He was not aware of the breach of confidentiality. But he said we really can't discuss everything this afternoon. It is so grave. Right? He said there are profound issues at stake based on what the Attorney General did. That it can't fully be ventilated in the short space of time they had this afternoon to deliver that judgment. That's one of the things Justice Anderson said. We can't really get to the bottom of it. It is so despicable. And then you had Justice Lee, Ragnaut Lee. The attribution here is incorrect, as Winston Anderson. Ragnaut Lee, R-A-J, Ragnaut Lee. Justice Ragnaut Lee said, right, I want to say, apart from the apology and all the things I've heard today, I am concerned about the impact the Attorney General's action will have on the integrity of the court. And those are some of the things discussed today. But of course, good people, and as usual, don't take me word for it. Don't take me word for it alone. Listen to the justices. Rehearse in their own words what I have sought to articulate there to you. Listen to them in their own words. And then I have a guest dropping by. Listen to them in their own words.
I think, well, it's a good thing that we had a decision with sound, which would make it a sound decision. But there's something more serious to discuss, which is it was brought to our attention that this decision of the court, which was an advanced copy was provided to counsel, as is the custom of the court, which is a service of the court, that decision was already publicized on the Facebook page of the Attorney General. That is what was brought to our attention, which is, of course, a very serious and unacceptable thing. The impression was created that, okay, the Attorney General has some hidden line with the court. He gets this first and no one else knows about it. We know that that is not so. But anyway, this is just an example of how these things may affect.
Yes, thank you, President. And I have listened with great interest to what has been said. I was not aware of the breach of the confidentiality. I would say, sir, that this discussion is useful, no doubt. And we have heard what we have heard. However, there are much more profound issues at stake, and those issues I do not believe can be fully ventilated in this forum. I think the court will have to decide how to go forward in relation to the release of these advance copies, possibly generally, and certainly in relation to sensitive matters such as this one. And I believe that that's a discourse that the court should have with itself, led, of course, by our permanent president, to decide how to go forward. I really don't think that this forum, beyond what we have heard, is going to be very, very helpful in deciding how we go forward. I do take the point that we expect an apology from the Attorney General himself. No doubt that will be forthcoming. But beyond that, sir, I do think that this is a policy decision that we need to discuss and decide amongst ourselves.
Yeah, Justice Anderson, I was minded to withdraw shortly and discuss this, but given the time problem, I can understand that that might take too much time. But I think we have expressed ourselves clearly enough to make it very clear that this is totally unacceptable. And any further action of the court will be contemplated. For example, is it possible in cases like this to send an advanced copy in Guyana? I mean, this is really serious business, and we cannot have it. And this is something we will discuss in a broader form, because I think this is something that our president of the court also needs to be involved in. We don't take this lightly at all. And I'm sure that the last word has not been said yet. At least we have heard Solicitor General Hawke make the apology. His undertaking that the apology will be published. That's a first step. But if it is, whether it's enough or not, that is to be seen. Shortly, Justice Rajanath.
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you, President. I will not be long at all. I wanted to say that apart from the apology and all those other things that I've heard today, I am very concerned about the impact on the integrity of the court.
Yes.
And I would like counsel here perhaps to come up with something that will remedy that impact. It is a very, very serious matter. Thank you. That's all I wish to say.
Yep. That is how it went down, folks. That is precisely how it went down. Serious business. Breach of confidentiality. Wow. Very serious business. Folks, I want to welcome my guest, one of the lead attorneys on this case. I want to welcome my guest this evening, the one and only attorney at law, international lawyer, Mr. Selwyn Peters. Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Good evening, Mr. Duncan. How are you doing tonight?
I am good, sir. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us. As folks, as you should know, Attorney Peters was one of the lead lawyers on this Elections Petition 99 case, and he was there throughout that hearing today. Let's talk about the grounds on which this case was dismissed from the CCJ, and then we get on to the Nandalal bit and the breach of confidentiality.
Well, the court wrote 86-page and 84-page decision in this matter, but it boiled down to how they read Article 163 of the Constitution and also the Election Validity Act. So they felt that Article 163 of the Constitution and Section 3, subsection 1 of the Election Validity Act provided exclusive jurisdiction to the to the High Court, and that that the Court of Appeal had no jurisdiction to entertain this matter. Justice Anderson said that if there was any appeal in this matter, which is arguable, it could have been brought to the full court itself rather than the Court of Appeal. So they said that because the matter was brought to the wrong court, it was void.
And again, Selwyn, this isn't the substance of this petition, election petition 99. This is the substance of it.
No, it's not even the substance of it, and it's so. This case is so unfortunate in so many respects, because it's interesting that the opposite side was able to use a non-compliance in respect to someone who was on the same side as the petitioners. So essentially, David Granger signed a date of service that was out of time. So he signed the 25th as opposed to the 20th. And, there was a whole bunch of affidavits and so on that were filed before the Chief Justice. She didn't accept them. She accepted what was on the face of the application itself, which was...
And that little thing was it.
Yeah.
Selwyn, it's not about impersonation, people who voted. None of that was in question. None of that came up, because that's the substance of the case. All of these ballot boxes that didn't have statutory documents, none of that was discussed. It's this 25th as against the 20th.
That's right. And it is possible, as the argument went, oops, I wonder what's going on. It is possible that it could have been a slip or error. It could have been a slip or error, and people sometimes make slip and errors, and certainly that was exploited to deny justice, to deny the hearing on the merits of an election petition. So this is another election petition in Guyana that went down the drain, in the sense that only one election petition in Guyana was heard on the merits. That was the Esther Pereira case. No other election petition has been heard on the merits. They've all been dismissed for any number of reasons. And that certainly doesn't bode well for democracy. I mean, the court wrote very flowery reasons, 84 pages, speaking about democracy and how the Constitution should flow and arise. But there's no life to the Constitution if you have an election and someone filed a petition, regardless of the merits of the petition has to be heard. The petition has to be determined on the merits. We just had election in Kenya, and the Supreme Court of Kenya, a 9-member bench, was able to hear that election petition in lightning speed and render a decision, so that William Ruto was appointed or proclaimed as president, where Raila Odinga was fighting really hard to say he won that election. But the election petition was heard. It was a full trial, and a determination was made. In Guyana, you don't have that. You have this election petition now dismissed a little over 2 years at the final court. And then you have on November 1st, the other petition that we're appearing in, 88, is going to be before the Court of Appeal for a case management conference.
It's quite interesting because you had 5 justices, as you articulated, who felt that once the Chief Justice ruled, there was no appeal to that. You have 3 of them, and then 2 of them said that the litigants could have appealed to the full court. We were made to understand, if our reading of it is correct, that you talk about this flowery language about democracy and all that. Justice Jamadar was one of those justices who espoused all of the virtues of democracy. But at the end of the day, this doesn't look like the will of the people, coming out here, because we ain't getting to the main issues, Selwyn. We get into them.
We're not getting to them, and it's, but the thing about it is, I mean, certainly, it goes to show, really, Mr. Duncan, that in these cases we have to dot the I's and cross the T's very carefully. I mean, I'm litigating at a very high level in Canada, litigating at a very high level in Guyana, and too often people take things for granted. You have something to be filed by no later than October 18th, and the judge is writing at the end of the day on October 19th, asking where are the documents that you're supposed to file. I found myself in that situation today, where a judge is asking where are the documents that were supposed to be filed yesterday. And I, as one of the lawyers, haven't even seen the final document yet. So sometimes, even at a high level of litigation, lawyers cannot get their act together, and missing timelines. You cannot even miss a day. You're supposed to you're supposed to get your stuff ready at least a few days in advance, so that one doesn't run into these difficulties. So, I'm not criticizing any of the lawyers in this case. I don't want it to come across that way. But I mean, certainly, the errors that brought us to this stage could have been avoided, and sometimes we have to confront that, because had the petition been filed even a few days earlier, that could have been avoided. I mean, and then we didn't have and then there's no affidavit from David Granger explaining what the slip or error was and why that slip and error occurred. So, I mean, quite frankly, sometimes we can be our own worst enemies in these cases. And I know a lot of people are disappointed, but
Yeah, and rightly so. And rightly so, because again, none of the allegations that were put forward that the PPP, in fact, were engaged in some nefarious activities in this last election were able to be ventilated in the court. It's all technicalities. Who gets served late? Who is a right respondent? Who isn't? Those kinds of technicalities. Selwyn, Attorney at Law Peters, when the Guyanese people hear this, they're now trying to make sense of it. Those at home, abroad, people in the Caribbean too, who've been following these issues and internationally, what do you think should be the takeaway from all of this? You're talking about litigating at a high level, and you look at this, the technicalities as against the substance. What should people take away from this process?
I mean, the takeaway from the process is that, these cases are hard-fought litigation. And sometimes, especially in the Guyana context, given that only one election petition has ever been heard on the merits, we have got to get it right in terms of ensuring that all timelines are met, that, we're careful as to which court is appealed to. We're careful as to jurisdiction. We're careful to serve and file in the right court. Everything has got to be on point, because if something falls off the rail, the opposite side will exploit it, and the court may well find favor with the other side to not deal with the substantive merits. I mean, in some of these cases in Guyana, the courts seem not to want to deal with the merits of these cases. Look at Paul Slow case that has been going on. It's going on to the second year. I mean, we have not gotten to the merits of that case, and the opposite side has been bringing motions to not have this case heard on the merits, and they will exploit anything. And the election petition, a slip on the part of respondent number 2, David Granger, certainly led to the exploitation of this in a big way. And certainly, because of the exclusive jurisdiction of the High Court, and the appeal that was filed to the Court of Appeal, the court said, well, hey, the decision to appeal is a nullity, and the appeal is a nullity, and the decision to appeal to the Court of Appeal is a nullity itself. So, it's just, you find yourself down in a rabbit hole.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Attorney Law Peters, we were talking earlier on about litigating at a high level, and certainly the learned Attorney General has litigated before at a high level. But last evening we saw a very, very strange feature. The Attorney General put out on his Facebook page that the case was decided and here is how it was going to come down. The only thing with that was that the CCJ had not yet issued its judgment. They took very harshly to that today at the CCJ, as they were actually then handing down the decision for the first time to what the Attorney General did. Justice Anderson talked about breach of confidentiality. Justice Rajnath Lee talked about the damage that could do to the court, and perhaps has done to the court. And not only did they demand in a very strong way an apology out of the Attorney General, but they say they're going to still meet, because other things, there must be, consequences flowing that are greater than that. What happened here, Attorney Peters?
Well, look, what the Attorney General did, and that is his page. He's the one that goes on there every week, or sometimes more than once a week, with his issues in the news program. That's his primary page. That's not a Government of Guyana page. It's a page controlled by him. The decision of the court, the Caribbean Court of Justice, was sent to lawyers. It wasn't sent to anyone else. And when it was sent to us, it was sent with a strong notice that confidentiality applies to this draft judgment until it's released by the court at 10 a.m. on the 19th.
That was specifically stated.
Yes, so it was an undertaking to keep it confidential. And the breach of an undertaking to a court is no small measure, especially when you're talking about the chief law officer of the state and the leader of the Guyana Bar. And I don't know if you heard, but I was one of the speakers to that this morning. And I spoke of that this man is the leader of the bar. He's the second Attorney General in the Caribbean region that found to have been in an ethical slip. The first one was the Attorney General of Trinidad, who swore an affidavit that wasn't true. This one here breached an undertaking to the court by publishing the substance of his decision and the result reached, despite an undertaking that he should not do so. It certainly put the integrity of the court at risk, and I agree. One only has to go to your page to see the comments that some of the readers left. They felt that the court was bought out by the PPP. They felt that no other Caribbean state should join that court because it's compromised. Yeah. Some very, very caustic comments
which give rise to this phrase, bringing the court into disrepute.
Indeed, and that's the exact term that I used when I was speaking about the Attorney General's conduct and why that apology is not acceptable and should not be accepted. It certainly brought the court into disrepute. It lowered the court in the estimation of right-minded people, because obviously yesterday, my inbox for emails, WhatsApp, and everything was filling up, because people, when they saw that screenshot from the Attorney General's page, was writing me to ask me if it was true. Mm-hmm. Some of the activists didn't even sleep last night. They were writing and ringing me down, and ringing Royce-Dale down to find out, well, what's up? What is going on with this? Whereas he could have certainly kept it to himself like everyone else.
Yeah.
prepare.
Interestingly, the Attorney General was a no-show at court, and the Solicitor General said that it was an administrator for the Attorney General. But that is even, to me, it's to add fuel to the fire, because as if what you were saying, well, I have no, you have said to us that this was sent to lawyers in
Yes.
confidentiality. Then what would an administrator for your page be doing with that information?
Yes, and how did
That would be even worse.
and how did the administrator come into possession of it? Because this is
Yeah.
a man, the attorney, the confidentiality of a court decision that's embargoed is equivalent to a state secret.
Yeah.
It's equivalent to a top secret document.
So this is not a fellow lawyer on the case posting on your Facebook page. It's an administrator, according to him, if he is to be believed, somehow got possession of this information and posted it. Interesting.
If it wasn't this serious, if it wasn't this grave, it would have been laughable. But it brings into question that man's judgment. It brings into question his judgment. It brings into question his proportionality, because the stuff that the Attorney General of Guyana does on his Facebook page, his issues in the news page, he could not have gotten away with it in Canada. I'm a lawyer here in Canada. I'm a lawyer in Trinidad, and I'm a lawyer in Guyana. I can say in full confidence that when my colleagues listen to the Attorney General of Guyana on his issues in the news features that he have, they scratch their head in awe. And I let them listen to it because I want them to see the sort of behavior that passes in Guyana from an Attorney General. And so, because he gets away with it, no one dared to tell him anything in Guyana that you're wrong, that your behavior is unethical, that you're crossing the line. He pushed it with the Caribbean Court of Justice, and he got called out in a major way.
Court and they said there's going to be more actions.
Yes, and the court would never look at him the same way. Lawyers would never look at him the same way. His colleagues would never look at him the same way because of that breach of confidence.
Which brings me to my my other question. What do you think would be the natural consequence flowing from something like? I mean, it seems almost unprecedented.
Well, it is unprecedented at the CCJ. I think the entire protocol at the CCJ will change. They released.
Thanks to the Attorney General Anil.
Yes, they released the decision the day before. I think they may simply release the decision about 15 minutes before it's released to the public, and they may not release it by sending it by emails. They may simply, you may have to log into a confidential portal where you can't even print it. You simply have to read it there and make notes from it, but you couldn't print it, you couldn't download it or anything like that. And that would be more of a surefire way to govern confidentiality. But the Attorney General has to really account. He has to take responsibility for it. That is his personal page. He cannot blame some Facebook administrator that administers his page. That is just laughable.
And has a confidential document too.
Yeah, it's just laughable. I mean, the question that you have to ask: does the Facebook administrator have access to cabinet confidences as well? Do they read the cabinet documents, the minutes of cabinet meetings, all those documents that are secret? And
pretty interesting.
And is it
pretty
possible,
interesting?
And is it possible that at some point, because they don't like a decision that was voted on in cabinet that may have been in favor of Priya or somebody else, it gets published on somebody else's page by error because the Facebook administrator saw it and nobody got to call this, and I put it in quotation mark, this Facebook administrator.
Wow.
This Facebook administrator thing is laughable.
Attorney Peters, you work internationally. I mean, give us that broad view of it. do you see things like this? I mean, like, had this been any place else, we haven't heard the final word from the CCJ, and they were very specific. We don't have the time because of the other matters they were dealing with to deal with it comprehensively, but we're going to hear from them shortly on it. What would be perhaps a natural consequence of this in other places?
Well,
this breach of trust and confidentiality and bringing the court into disrepute.
Well, he would have had to resign. He would have been fired. I mean, look what the Trinidad Law Association brought we had a whole big meeting about the Attorney General. Mm-hmm. And there was a vote on whether the Trinidad Law Association should write to the president so that this man could resign. In Canada, we had an attorney general who picked up the phone and called the chief of police because he was involved in a traffic stop and he was forced to resign. The attorney general of Guyana's conduct is much more graver. And certainly if he was in other jurisdiction, he would have had to resign. I mean,
I think you hit the nail on the head, Attorney Peters. He has done it so often and gotten away with it. The Guyanese people don't realize the gravity of what took place yesterday afternoon in that simple post.
Yes, and I realized it as soon as I saw it. I realized the gravity of the post because, I mean, certainly you were concerned about it. It was brought to the attention of the leader of the opposition, the Honorable Aubrey Norton. It was brought to the attention of many of the members of Parliament, the Honorable Amansa Walton Desir, and they were all calling to find out what was going on. They were all concerned about that post. So, and people were commenting on Facebook. It could have caused hysteria and panic in Guyana.
I think that is what troubled the court, if anything else.
Yes. The implications, the court has recognized that the implications of what happened there was grave, because this was not an ordinary case. It's a very sensitive case, and it's a case that has to be treated, with the diligence, with the prudence, with the sound judgment and confidentiality that it deserves.
Yeah. The jury isn't out on this one, Attorney Peters. The justices of the CCJ were very specific and very clear with what they said today, and none of that augurs well for a country like ours. And we have an administration here that won't do anything.
Well, it doesn't augur well because, of course, you've heard the comments of Justice Witt. He was concerned if you can't trust lawyer, and Senior Counsel Ford is on, by the way, so you might as well get him so he can get up.
Yeah, let me invite him. Sorry about that. Senior Counsel Ford, welcome.
Hi, good evening, Sherrod. Good evening, Selwyn. Good evening, members of the public.
I know you've had a busy day, sir, and thank you, Attorney at Law Peters, for spending some time with us this evening to make sense of all that transpired during the course of the day. We've been picking the attorney's brain on the outcome of the case. You can chime in there for us, and also this other fiasco with the Attorney General and releasing this information a little too early, and the court not taking too lightly to that at all. Go ahead, sir. Jump in at any point.
Sherrod, I deal first with the release, the improper, unauthorized release of the judgment by Nandalal. Sherrod, I've been listening to yourself and Selwyn describe it as a grave act by him, but I just want to add that by any measure, it is an act of misconduct. It's a fundamental act of misconduct. The court recognized the degree and the gravity of that act, and I believe the court took it very seriously. As you indicated, Selwyn indicated, and yourself indicated a few moments ago, the court planned to come back and to deal with the matter a bit more. But what cannot be denied from this entire fiasco is that Nandalal singularly, personally, would have embarrassed not only himself, he would have embarrassed the office of the Attorney General of Guyana. It's a very high office in the Constitution. It's the only office other than the President and the Prime Minister that is specifically provided for in the Constitution, the Office of the Attorney General. And he has embarrassed this country. The explanation offered by Solicitor General Hawke was in itself was ludicrous. It was quite ludicrous. There is no way, Sherrod, that a judgment of this nature could come to the office of the Attorney General chambers and simply be taken down, printed, and such a statement put up on Facebook by an administrator of the account. It doesn't carry any ring of logic. No one will seriously believe it. I don't know if you observed the justice's face whilst Mr. Hawke was saying his little fable there, but that is the sort of story, that is the sort of embarrassment that this country would have suffered continuously from August 2020. We've had many instances where the president himself would have done similar acts to embarrass this country. Now, coming to the judgment itself, Sherrod, the judgment is a very profound judgment in the sense that it is the first time, I believe, an appellate court would have decided these issues. It is quite a disappointment that the decision went the way it did. I look at the judgments of Justice Jamadar and Justice Barrow, and clearly they articulated a different view from the justices Anderson, Rajnath Lee, and Witt. It is their view, based on the importance of the appellate court exercising the supervisory jurisdiction of the court, and in the entire interests of justice and rule of law under the Constitution. And I believe I recall a specific part of Justice Jamadar's judgment when he said that it is inconsistent with the rule of law to allow a government to come to power, an election petition to be dismissed, and the courts to be disarmed by an interpretation of the Constitution that denies the court the right to verify whether an election petition could have been dismissed lawfully or not. When you really think about what the CCJ would have decided today, is the antithesis of rule of law. It is strange that they would have come to such a conclusion, because you could actually contemplate situations, Sherrod, where a party could win an election petition could be filed, the election petition could be based on a number of fraudulent acts, as in this case, and simply the judge dismisses the election petition. What the decision today really does is to insulate and protect a party that comes to power by fraudulent means. Because the minority judgment, which is in fact a dissenting judgment and is a very strong dissent by Justices Barrow and Jamadar, in which they're saying that the court must have the power to check to see whether this happens. And the court is saying that this is merely not something that should be considered as a matter of course, but that the law specifically provided for it. Now, when you look at the judgment, could I continue, Sherrod?
Go right ahead, Senior Counsel.
When you look at the judgment, I believe that there was a fundamental disagreement among the 5 judges. It may have explained why we took so long to get the judgment, but there was clearly a fundamental disagreement among the 5 judges. Justice Barrow, for example, stated that the starting point of the consideration for the issues in this case for him was Article 163(4)(d) of the Constitution, a provision which empowered Parliament to pass legislation to provide for the practice and procedure in relation to election petition matters and election petition jurisdiction conferred on the High Court. And insofar, the Justice Barrow is simply saying that Section 42 of that act, which provided the High Court with the power to treat an election petition as an ordinary matter, meant that when the court treated it such as an ordinary matter, that an appeal, in his opinion, existed. A right of appeal existed. And then they disagree that you should not have gone to the Court of Appeal, but fundamentally both judges agreed that in those circumstances, the right of appeal existed and it lay to the full court. The majority or the three judges never any argument in relation to 164 3D at paragraph 70 or so, I believe, of their judgment. They simply said that they adopted an approach which simply meant that it must be construed strictly. And the implications of that sort of approach is very significant when we see the consequences of it. Justice Jamadar spent significant portions of his judgment trying to explain the importance of interpreting the Constitution, and in a very expansive way, in a way that is consistent with what is required. Justice Jamadar went so far to say that Guyana intended for you to have a right of appeal. He said so expressly. This is what Guyana wanted. Guyana system wanted you to have a right of appeal. But the majority justices felt different. So this is where we are. I don't believe that we can say that we're at the end of the resolution of these issues one way or the other. I believe that Mr. Selwyn, my good friend, Mr. Peters, and the other counsel involved in this matter will have to make some serious reviews, considerations in terms of where we go forward in terms of the decision made today. I believe that this decision will stand as a blotch on the record of the CCJ with the greatest of respect. I believe it represents an irresponsible diversion from the very progressive path we've been seeing the CCJ making over the years, especially in relation to decisions in relation to Guyana, its constitution, what our constitution means, electoral reform is needed. This decision stands out as not in keeping in the same vein of progressive jurisprudential thought, especially that you would expect from an apex court in 2022. I believe Justice, one of the law lords, his name, I can't remember, it's either Lord Diplock or, I believe it's Lord Diplock in the case of Fisher against the Attorney General of Bahamas, a very well-known case. The court said that Privy Council said that interpreting the Constitution, it must not be interpreted as a tabulated legalism. And it was interesting to see in Justice Jamadar's judgment that he resort to that sort of language to show the restrictive interpretation that was being placed on the Constitution and the law governing this matter that rendered the entire process inconsistent with the very purpose of the court, which is to supervise electoral matters. You saw, I want to bring to the public's attention, you saw in the case of Ali against David, where the CCJ decided that it assumed jurisdiction when the Constitution specifically said that the Court of Appeals decision was final.
That's
and
what's
in this
startling to me.
circumstance,
That's the case I was trying to remember. It was quite startling. The Constitution in that case, Ali versus David, specifically said, there was nothing beyond the Court of Appeal locally, and the CCJ clawed its way back to jurisdiction using all kinds of mechanisms and gymnastics.
Yes, I believe that this decision is going to come in for some serious criticism in the legal world, both by other courts around the world, and I believe by academics abroad in the region and around the world. It's quite the sort of decision you would not expect from an apex court in 2022.
Selwyn, you wanted to add anything there? Attorney Peters?
Well, no, I think Mr. Ford articulated very well the substance of the decision. I think people wanted to hear substantively what the court said and how it reasoned to get to the result that it did. And I think, well, I'm confident that Mr. Ford did a very good job in articulating it. And you know, obviously, he's right. These things, these cases where, you know, the right to be heard has been taken away from the petitioners in such fundamental issues does not augur well. And I agree with him.
Very well. Attorney at Law Selwyn Peters, Attorney at Law Senior Counsel Rosie Ford, thank you for spending this time with us and making sense of this for our listeners and our viewers. Thank you so much.
Yes, and Sherrod, let me say this. I mean, we have election petition 88 that is coming up in court on November 1st. You know, I think in these petitions, because they represent such significant and fundamental values for our society, you know, they ought to be covered live and people ought to be engaged and sort of listen in live and participate so that the courts know that people are active and engaged in the process of judicial decision making and not just lawyers in the courtroom. Yeah. And so we hope that people would sort of actively engage in this process when it comes before the Court of Appeal on November 1st, because obviously it's going to be the second case that's probably winding its way to the Caribbean Court of Justice in any event.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you, Attorney at Law Peters. Attorney at Law Peters, Attorney at Law Rosie Ford, Selwyn Peters. Thanks for spending this time again with us.
Thank you.
Have a fantastic evening.
Thank you, Selwyn. Sure.
Thank you, Senior Counsel. Folks, that's our time. And that's our program, folks. Share that live and show that others get valid and credible information. That being said, folks, that's our program. And that's our time as well. Good folks, you heard it. You heard it here. Valid, credible information all the time. Continue to share the live, good people. Smash that emoji button and partner with us as well. That being said,
Want to keep getting the best in the ring?
let's fight!
Yes, you can help us to keep going by partnering with us through your contributions. And it's easy. Send us a daily, weekly, or monthly donation, whichever is most convenient to you. Cash App at $in-the-ring592, Zelle and PayPal in the ring592 at gmail.com, or WhatsApp us on 627-6963 for how to contribute via MoneyGram and Western Union and for MMG payments.
Yep. We're back tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock FYI, 12 o'clock we below the belt, and then we're back at 8 in the evening, guys. Below the belt, right here. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe.